Good morning. My name is Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we're getting a company update from Labrador Gold, which trades on the Toronto Venture Stock Exchange under the symbol LAB. Joining me today is Lab's President and CEO, Roger Moss. Roger, how are you doing today?
Very well, thanks, Megan. How about you?
Great. And for those that are new to Labrador Gold's story, can you please give us an overview of the company and your flagship Kingsway Gold project in Newfoundland?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, first we need to talk about forward-looking statements, which we always make in these kinds of presentations. So your listeners should be aware of that. And really, we're working on the island of Newfoundland, and as you mentioned, we have a gold project called Kingsway. It's our flagship project, and we really like working in Newfoundland and Labrador because it's a very politically stable jurisdiction, and the government there is very supportive of mineral exploration, both in terms of expediting permits, as we'll talk about in a little bit, but also funding mineral exploration in the province. And we've certainly been beneficiaries of that funding in the last few years. But also the incredible work that the Geological Survey does there, including maintaining one of the best in the world, I think, online databases. So working in Newfoundland and Labrador, as we have been doing for 6 years now, has been really good, and we've had great experiences there. Our exploration team on the ground is excellent. Our project manager has been involved in the area on and off since the early 90s when the first gold rush occurred in central Newfoundland. So he has a wealth of experience, which we're very happy to draw on. And of course, our shareholders are important. They're the ones that really enable us to do this work. And we have some very strong shareholders that are very supportive of what we're doing. And as we've discussed in previous interviews, we have a 100,000 meter drill program going on. We probably have about 14,000 meters left in that 100,000 meter drill program. And that's more than covered by our cash in the bank of about 10 million right now. So this is just a look at the property map in the particular area where we're at. Our Kingsway property here is shown in the blue, and as you can see, we're surrounded by newfound gold in some parts, and then exploits discovery in the other. Probably the most important aspect of this slide is are these dashed lines, which represent major crustal scale faults. And from our perspective, the most important one is this one in the middle called the Appleton Fault Zone, because that appears to be the most prolific or prospective fault zone in the district, and the one that is associated with most of the gold occurrences that have been discovered in the last 3 years. And those include discoveries on our ground, on exploits ground, and also on Newfound Gold's ground. So a very prolific structure there in terms of gold mineralization. And this is just one of the things that I'm particularly proud of is our record of discovery. We've been working here for about 3 years, and we've developed drill targets from scratch. And we've drilled 6 of those targets, and we've found gold in 5 of them. And so that's that's a really good success rate. And you can see 4 of them highlighted here: Golden Glove in the south, Big Vein and Pristine in the center, and Dropkick in the north. They are all aligned along the Appleton Fault Zone, which you can just make out here as the red dashed line. And then the 5th one is over here at Midway. And that's probably about 2 kilometers to the west of the Appleton Fault Zone, and it's a totally different type of host to the gold mineralization, and so it's not at all like what we see along the Appleton Fault Zone.
So I did want to say the company announced this week permits at the Gap and Kingsway South. You've mentioned in previous releases, but for those new to those targets, could you give our listeners just an overview of the upcoming exploration areas?
Yeah, I can do that. We should just mention Dropkick here, which is one of our latest discoveries, and this is the one located in the north of this previous slide up here. And we started drilling this earlier this year, and based on soil samples and geophysics. And it's turned out to be really good. We now have about a 200-meter strike length of gold mineralization. You can see some of the holes outlined here. We've had visible gold in 4 of the holes that we drilled there, and including this one up here at 228. We had about 30 grams a ton over half a meter. And then more recently down here, right at the southwestern end, we had some more visible gold and some decent grades, high grade of 16 grams over a third of a meter within a larger intersection. So Dropkick has been really good. We do want to go back there eventually, but right now, as you mentioned, we're going to go and look in more detail at some of the areas that we've had the permits for, and that includes two main areas that we're looking at. One is the area between Big Vein and Pristine, which we call the Gap, and the other one is the area south of Big Vein down to the southern boundary, which we call Kingsway South. So both of those are really good areas that we've been wanting to drill for a while. Obviously, the area between Big Vein and Pristine, the Gap, is exciting because we know we have gold at Big Vein, we know we have gold at Pristine, and we have structures that are sort of connecting the two of them along the Appleton Fault Zone. And so we're really excited to be able to drill those structures and follow the mineralization north from Big Vein and south from Pristine, and hopefully join them together. Down in the south, one of our main focuses in the south is going to be Nobby, and we can talk about that a little bit more. This is just a close-up of the Gap and what we have in the Gap, showing you some of the faults, the Appleton Fault Zone coming through here, the Black Shale North Fault, which you can see here trending up towards Pristine, and from Pristine to the south we have the Disco Fault. So there's a lot going on in that area between Big Vein and Pristine that we're going to be looking at.
In the release, you discussed the differences in the stratigraphic orientation seen at the Nobby occurrence when compared to your Big Vein, Pristine, and Dropkick targets. Can you walk us through this and perhaps its significance?
The difference in orientation, just to talk about that first, what we see at Nobby is an almost east-west or strike of the quartz veins, and as opposed to what we see in Big Vein, Pristine, and Dropkick, where the quartz veins are more or less parallel to the stratigraphic orientation. So the orientation of the rocks, which is northeast southwest. So that's what Big Vein and Pristine and Dropkick, the veins there, they're oriented in that direction, so pretty much parallel to the Appleton Fault Zone. Nobby is perpendicular to that, and so we're looking at more of an east-west situation rather than a northeast-southwest. The implications of that are such that we see a lot of high-grade gold mineralization in the district associated with these more east-west or east-northeast trending veins and structures, and we see it particularly down in the south at the Queensway project of Newfoundland Gold, where many of their highest grade occurrences have been associated with these more east-west type structures, And Navi is really the first one that we've seen to be in that same orientation. Now, having said that, we have been doing a little bit work on Golden Glove, which you can see right down in the south of this diagram, and we drilled that before, and we had some good intersections down there and some high grade intersections, but we were disappointed that we couldn't actually follow these intersections out along strike. And going back and looking at this and kind of revising our model of what's happening at Golden Glove, it appears that Golden Glove is also, or the main vein that we see at Golden Glove is also an east-west striking vein. And so what we're doing as part of this Appleton South or Kingsway South program is we'll be drilling Navi and we'll be drilling Golden Glove and some other areas, especially in between Navi and Big Vein.
Can you talk more about the drill strategy at Kingsway South?
Yeah, so I think, initially we want to go in and we want to test Navi. We had a good result there from grab samples. I think it was up to about 30 grams a ton in grab samples from the vein, and this is a picture of the main outcrop there in the center of the screen. So that's going to be the first priority. We do want to get it drilled down to Golden Glove, and that'll probably be next in line. And those two will be starting up, but at least Navi, we'll start drilling Navi in the next week or so, and Golden Glove will come in probably another week or so after that. And in between Big Vein and Navi, targets that we have in there will follow on after Navi and Golden Glove. So that's kind of the order: Navi, Golden Glove, and the area between Big Vein and Navi.
Could you give our listeners a recap of what most excites you about this next phase of drilling at Kingsway?
Yeah, well, I think, we've talked about both of these areas in the past, and especially the gap between Big Vein and Pristine. And that's exciting because, like, if we can join those up, we'll have almost 2 kilometers strike length of gold mineralization. So we're keen to see where we can do that. Navi is obviously a good target. It's one where we think we can make another discovery. And if what we see elsewhere in terms of gold associated with these east-west structures holds up at Navi, then we should we may even be able to see some high grades like we see at Big Vein and elsewhere. And the same with Golden Glove. As I mentioned, Golden Glove was disappointing initially, but we're pretty excited about going back to Golden Glove. We know there's gold there, and we believe that we could see some more consistent high grades at Golden Glove.
So once again, we want to thank you for your time today, Roger, and we look forward to having you back on again soon for another Labrador Gold update.
Absolutely. It was good to be here. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.